You set up an AI model on a wrong kind of data, and then be ready for AI hallucinations. You were trying to solve problem X, and then now you ended up doing, say AI hallucination, and now problem X is still as it is. You have invested a lot of money and efforts into the implementation of AI, and now you have in front of you problem Y also, because you already have the money and time and resources invested in AI, and now you don't know why is the AI hallucinating and not giving me the right kind of results. So I think after you are thorough with what is the problem that you're trying to solve, it is important that you also look at the kind of infrastructure that you have to build AI.
Welcome to another episode of Raj Tech Talks. Today we have very distinguished guest. Have you ever done 1,000 plus processes across 12 business units and standardized the processes across 12 business units? Have you ever governed over 100 million portfolio? If you are interested, this episode is for you. How to turn strategy into measurable execution at scale, right? Let me introduce our guest today is Priya. She's a enterprise transformation focused leader. She's into data and AI execution for global pharma and GCC environments. She's the author of All Pieces Click, a book of a personal transformation. So basically, this podcast is all going to be about transformation. With that, I'll let Priya introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Raj, for that introduction. And I'm very happy to be here on the podcast and share what I've learned in the journey so far, my experiences, my learnings from the failures, and whatever I've gathered throughout my way. Very happy to share it, because I think sharing is that one wonderful thing that you can do through which you grow and also you let others grow. So with that, thanks again for the introduction. And I wish whatever we discuss today and have a conversation about really adds value to somebody who is looking forward to any kind of transformation portfolio as their career, or driving transformation in large scale or small scale organizations for that matter. To put it very short, I had been driving transformation in my career, and I have seen strategies getting transformed, getting to transformation stage through execution. And I've learned, over the period of time, I've seen challenges that transformation actually faces. And I'll be happy to share all that with you. So thank
Sure.
you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, quick question. How did you get into this field? Getting into pharma itself, there's a lot of compliance, a lot of things, right? And then standardizing over 1,000 processes. That itself is a challenge by itself. How did you get into all this? Can you let us know how you started?
Yeah, sure. That's good. That's a story I would narrate very often when it comes to, talking about what I really do right now. And the path, I would say, was not a straightforward path, because it was a path of discovery. And I think that's what follows us even in the personal lives. It's about being intentional in the choices. It's about being aware of what we really want to do and what are our real strengths. So I think those are certain factors that drove me throughout my career as well. I started asking the right kind of questions very early on in my career. So for me, execution was more than doing the work. It was more about aligning myself with what I do. So I come from a core pharma background, and I have been in pharma throughout my career so far. I started with pharma regulatory field, which is a highly regulated. So when you say pharma is highly regulated, regulatory affairs is something that takes care of the regulations in pharma, and that's where I started my career from. So look, being into regulatory affairs, understood what the guidelines say and how is the industry governed with those guidelines. And I later found that, that's a very regulated kind of a job. So you are into, the regulatory affairs framework, and you are somebody who's understanding the framework, implementing it, ensuring things happen as per the guidelines, but very little scope of creativity or changing things, because things are very, very, very particular when it comes to, the regulatory affairs. And because I was creative by nature, I later on moved into the quality training side of pharma. So I was a trainer. I also designed trainings and I imparted trainings, and we did a lot of workshops, and those were all around, again, pharma. How do we, for example, if a drug goes into market and we get a market complaint, that comes all the way back to the manufacturing setup where the drug was manufactured. And we need to find out what exactly went wrong, during the manufacturing of that one particular tablet in which the customer has found, say, a one black fleck. That critical it goes when it comes to investigations in pharma. So those are some of the kind of trainings that we have designed and delivered, and the workshops that we have done around, identification of root causes of where the problem happens so that we prevent it in future. Because particularly in pharma, every action that we take is directly linked to the lives of the patients. So we are in industry which is very, very sensitive and to the needs of the customers, because our customers are majority of most of the cases are the patients. Yes, sometimes they are also healthcare providers, but then patients are the one who will ultimately benefit out of it. Later on from trainings, while also delivering trainings, I found my interest into operational excellence or Six Sigma. So that's where I did my certifications, my black belt into operational excellence. I also did my MBA into operations and world-class manufacturing. And I started into this field of transformation or, solving business problems. So what Lean Six Sigma gave me was a toolkit of how would you approach a problem. And then with the creative flair that I had, I was really interested in the kind of new problems that would come my way, when it comes to business. And then I would solve it using this toolkit and what I really like to do. So that's why I say it's a journey of alignment, aligning my strength, which was creativity and problem solving, to deliver something for the business. And eventually it all culminated from, say, regulatory affairs to trainings, from trainings to operational excellence, from operational excellence to process excellence, eventually transformation projects as it scaled up. So that's in short about the journey, Raj.
Very nice, very nice. So Six Sigma in pharma, Six Sigma is fall short, right? You need to be like zero Sigma, like no errors, none whatsoever, because you're treating patients. So
Yes.
yeah, I get it. So now the buzzword, right? Everything is going on AI, AI, AI. Let me ask you a question right off the bat on AI. So
Mm-hmm.
you are doing transformation. How
Mm-hmm.
AI is scaling up with your transformation? I've done transformation in my career throughout, but not thousand. I cannot say I've done thousand. So, and I have had a big portfolio. My
Mm-hmm.
biggest was 25 million, but 100
Okay.
million is really, really a large portfolio. So how do you take AI and how do you apply it to such a long, 12 business units and each one probably at different processes and different things. How do you go about even skinning this cat, meaning like at least looking into how to implement AI here?
So one thing is for sure, AI is everywhere, right? If not happening in real time, we are at least hearing a lot about AI, right? And everybody wants to kind of hop on to that, train or let's do AI, right? But I think what in my experience so far, what I've really seen is, it's not about less, the systems that you have, the systems on which you are trying to build AI or the processes that you have on which you are trying to build AI, unless they are the right kind of systems, they are free of errors or problems or systemic issues, AI would not really help. So that's what I've seen. Though a lot of AI is happening, and if I talk about pharma, because I come from pharma, I can definitely offer a few insights on where is AI intervention happening the maximum, where are we still catching up, so on and so forth. A lot of AI has happened in manufacturing already. In fact, AI in manufacturing is nothing new, because even at the starting of my career, say 15 years back, I remember that I have seen error detecting machines which were already set up in the pharma manufacturing setup. So like visual detection of error in the way capsule was filled, whether the capsule was filled the way it was supposed to be filled, whether it was logged the way it is supposed to be logged. And those were the error detection machines which we used to have back then even. Intelligence into machine is nothing very new when it comes to at least the manufacturing setups. So manufacturing, it happened very early on, because manufacturing in pharma is similar to manufacturing also in FMCG. Yes, it comes with a lot of regulations and quality in the system and all. But then end of the day, it is manufacturing. We are producing something from the raw material. We go through a manufacturing process and deliver an end product. So that's what is manufacturing. Manufacturing, AI got introduced way earlier. Similarly, supply chain, AI got introduced much earlier. Now I see a lot of AI interventions happening in, say, commercial organization, right? Understanding what kind of conversations to have with an HCP for a healthcare provider, right? Or, how do we reach out to the right set of patients quickly, right? So those are the kind of conversation, or how do we target the conversations in a way that it really delivers the message that we want to deliver. So a lot of interventions are happening in the commercial space. It is pacing up very quickly. I think one area where AI is little slow, and I think on intent, is where we talk about, say, drug development. So where we are developing a drug from scratch, we go through clinical trials and the drug, finally, the trial master file is ready. And then we say that, okay, the drug is ready to be used, or, this is something that has shown us results. So a lot is to happen in that space of drug development. That said, from whatever I've seen when it comes to implementation of AI or automation, unless the process beneath is the right kind of process, unless the process beneath is not having issues, it is easy to implement AI, and AI will actually work and benefit what it is supposed to do, right? But you implement AI in a broken system, you will only get to understand the problem even better, even quicker compared to when you were understanding it earlier. But the problem still remains. So AI is not a one quick fix for all the problems. One has to be very much intentional about where to implement AI, how to implement AI, and what is the problem that we are really trying to solve. AI doesn't fix broken systems.
Yeah.
They have to
Like I
be
said,
fixed. And then,
processes,
yes,
yeah, like I said, like processes and AI and Six Sigma, all of those tools to aid the betterment of the process. Once you get the
yes.
process right, and then you can put the right tools to make things happen. Yes, technology is only aiding the process, right? So well said there. I've done computer vision. So in AI, I'm certified a computer vision engineer. So I see a lot of applications there where you can, detect even if it before it becomes a big large issue, right? So now
Mm.
let's talk about strategy execution here. Okay. So you have done over 1,000 transformations. What is the value realization for a large transformation project? What is your governance, KPIs, cadence, accountability? How do you go about establishing those even before you start a large transformation project?
I think that's a very sharp question to ask because, even if you try to envision what transformation would look like, right? Even if you try to envision a transformation, you would see, transformation is happening. People are in motion and everybody is going, pillar to post, making things happen, so on and so forth, right? A transformation is happening, a lot of buzz around it. People are paying attention, a lot of meetings are happening, right? And you're trying to, make a lot of dashboards and see the progress and so on and so forth. But I think the biggest learning or the biggest thing that I've seen for a transformation is when it comes from strategy to execution, I think having that clarity of thought, what exactly are you trying to transform and why this transformation? And when I say clarity, the clarity doesn't necessarily has to be only on the top leadership level. Of course, they need to have clarity and the vision, but then the clarity needs to be percolated. The clarity needs to be percolated to the teams who will be working to achieve that. Where is the transformation leading me or the team? And why is this transformation important for us? Right? I think having that clarity is really critical. Otherwise, having a lot of meetings, we would see a lot of movement happening, a lot of dashboards are being built. But in reality, you pause and ask yourself that is it better than what it was yesterday or sometime back? Have we really made progress? I think those are some of the defining questions that we need to keep asking ourselves every once in a while when it comes to transformation, right? So when I say every once in a while, we need to have a right kind of cadence of how and when do we measure our progress in a transformation project. So I think number one thing is having that clarity of what are we trying to transform, how are we trying to transform. Second, having an alignment between the systems, the people, the top leadership, and the people who will execute it. And I think the third important thing is having a right kind of cadence to measure, are we going in the right direction at the pace that we decided we will go at. So I think that's how, that's what transformation boils down to me for me.
Okay, thank you for that. You're saying clear vision, articulating that clear vision to the lowest level employee makes the success of a transformation. That's a very good point. So, switching a gear a little bit about GCC, I know a lot of people, it's a buzzword nowadays. Not many people know about GCC, right? So, can you tell us what What is GCC? What's the operating model of GCC? And what are the biggest challenges in implementing for a large pharma company? What is the biggest challenges that you face and how do you overcome those?
Yeah, so GCC is a big buzzword, and particularly in India, because we are seeing a lot of GCCs being set up in India, and that too particularly at a place where I'm currently put up. So even in India, a lot of GCCs are coming in Hyderabad because of the talent pool, and they might have their own decision-making factors here. But to demystify this code word GCC, GCCs are the global capability centers, and a lot of large organizations are now looking forward to put up their GCC or the global capability centers at places where they get enough talent pool. And most of these GCCs are, we see a huge influx of GCCs in India these days, not just in pharma, but in the other sectors as well. Because, for example, GCC of L'Oreal just got set up in Hyderabad, and a GCC of Heineken is coming here as well. So yeah, a lot of GCCs, a lot of international banks have put up their GCCs in India too, right? So that's about GCCs, as the word suggests, are the global capability centers. So it's about setting up a place which can support the growth of the organization or the vision of the organization across the world, right? Globally. So the kind of capabilities which are required to support the business of an organization globally from one particular center. Right. So those are like global capability centers. And yeah, I think it comes with a lot of challenges of its own. It's not easy to set up a global capability center. And since we are talking about this term GCC, it's also very important to understand that there used to be an elemental flaw in how we look at GCC. For example, of course, it comes with a cost benefit. There's no denying that, right? We do get, talent in much lesser prices that we pay in countries like, say, US or Europe. And that is why strategically GCCs are coming to this part of the world. But then it's not just about being cost efficient. It's also about getting the right kind of talent, which you do not find everywhere. And it's also about, strategically thinking about GCCs as their partners in success and not just as a back office. That's one differentiating factor that you would see in a GCC which is put up for success versus a GCC which was just put up for, say, the cost benefit. And I think there are some winning strategies that most of the GCCs are now aligning with. They find the right kind of talent, and it's not just about the execution role coming to GCC. These days we see a lot of influx of even the strategic roles which are being now moved on to the global capability centers. So they are truly, setting up themselves. The GCCs are truly setting up themselves, not just as the engine which will get, which will keep the train moving, but also something that gives direction, power, and also supports the strategy through the right kind of talent and through the right kind of strength that we have. So that's in short about the GCCs. That's
In short, like before we used to have this AMS, right? You take over the whatever the ticketing or whatever the issue resolutions. But now you're going one step forward. You're giving value creation. You're giving strategy and other things added to that model, right? So so everything is basically one shop stop, right? Like you give a transformation project to GCC, they'll take it and they will analyze it and they will execute it basically from end to end.
yes.
Thank you for that. Now I'm going to move on to again data and AI execution question. Okay. So if a company, a large company is thinking about, okay, I want to do AI, how should they go about evaluating what they should they focus on the problem and then see if AI fits into it, or they should take AI and see how they can resolve what is the approach should be, and then somewhere down the line, this AI has to give ROI. Otherwise, nobody is going to invest if the money is just because AI is there, right? So AI has to give that extra advantage in the ROI. So tell us about this journey here, how you are adapting to data and AI in your company or in general.
I think again the question, and the answer would already, like, I've something that I've already said, right? I've said that you need to know what your problem is, the problem that you're trying to solve. So whether a large organization or a small one, Raj, I would say having a clarity in understanding of what is the problem that you're trying to solve through AI matters a lot, right? And there might be problems for which you might not need AI altogether. Right.
Correct.
So AI, as I said, won't fix everything, but having a clarity of what do we really want through AI can help. I think once that is decided, that what is the problem that we are trying to solve, for which we are exploring AI, it's also important that we consider, do we have the right kind of systems which can support AI? For example, you do need data for AI, and you need the right kind of data for AI, right? And usually, this is where companies and organizations struggle. You have a data deluge, there's tons of data everywhere, but then how much of that data is really useful? How much of the data really has the kind of quality that can help you make decisions or that can help set up an AI model? You set up an AI model on a wrong kind of data, and then be ready for AI hallucinations. You were trying to solve problem X, and then now you ended up going, say AI hallucination, and now problem X is still as it is. You have invested a lot of money and efforts into the implementation of AI, and now you have in front of you problem Y also, because you already have the money and time and resources invested in AI, and now you don't know why is the AI hallucinating and not giving me the right kind of results. So I think after you are thorough with what is the problem that you're trying to solve, it is important that you also look at the kind of infrastructure that you have to build AI. And when I say infrastructure, data is, of course, a very important element of it, right? So having that right kind of data, having the right kind of systems to capture data. I think before AI comes the data and the right kind of governance. While you're hearing a lot about AI these days, you are also equally hearing a lot about data management being set up in the organizations. Every large scale organization does have a separate data management team now, who are only ensuring that we have the right kind of data, the data meets the standards, and then it is standardized across the organization to run the kind of AI interventions that we want to run. So I think these are two very important factors that I see when it comes to implementation of AI in any organization.
Yeah, it's first movers advantage, right? I see 64%. I read somewhere 64% of AI projects are all failing. I think people are trying to do like a first movers advantage, but without defining the guardrails as to what they want to get done with this AI. Like you said, if data is not there, garbage in, garbage out, right? So unless
Yeah.
you feed the right data, you're not going to get the right answer. Thank you for that. One last question I'm going to ask: how would one grow, and what kind of mindset we should have?
Yeah, so I think this is a question which is not limited to, a transformation project in the corporates. Success in itself is a very, very deep question. And this is a question which I have tried to also discover, and through a lot of understanding from senior leaders and my own experiences. In my book, All the Pieces Click, which you talked about in the beginning, right? So the book, All the Pieces Click, talks a lot about personal transformation. And what I do for a living is more about, transformation of businesses or the business processes. But I think one common element of any transformation is success, and it's about how you look at success. So for a large part of my life, I used to look at success as one big milestone. We achieve that and we are successful. But only with time I've realized that no, success is not always, that one big day. In fact, it's not at all that one big day. It's the progress that we make towards that ultimate goal every single day, every time when we make an intentional choice, or every time when we do the things the right way, in a way that leads us one step closer to what our definition of success was, right? So put it down in terms of, organization or transformation projects, having that very clear, what do we want to achieve? What are some of the key performance indicators that will tell us that, oh, we are moving towards that goal, right? So having that goal very clearly in mind, breaking it down in the KPIs, and then I think having the right kind of cadence to ensure we are making progress in that direction, ensure that we check it in a timely manner. So I think those are certain things I would say, which when it comes to success, so that's how I would put up success for a transformation project. So it comes into layers and not just that one big moment. It is achieved in every intentional choice that we make towards the objective.
I'll ask you about changing the subjects here. I want to ask you what inspired you to write All Places Click, right? I'm thinking this is about your transformation journey. and then how every piece will fit together to give you the success of the transformation. So tell us about that. And then what inspired you to write in the first place?
So, All the Pieces Click is a book which is not just about my transformation, but I wrote it for somebody who is looking forward to personal transformation. So it does cover in bits and pieces here and there the little transformations that have happened in my life. But then we also have stories from, say, Roger Federer or Virat Kohli, who's an Indian cricketer. No stories from around the world, say Muhammad Ali, who was a boxing champion. So we also have all kind of stories around those personalities and how they have achieved what they have achieved in their lives. So it's a combination of experiences that I had, learnings that I had, on my way as I proceeded in life. I would say not just career, but also personal life and life as a whole, right? And then, learning from these great personalities, from the mentors that I have met along the way. And yeah, my own personal struggles, failures, and the thing or two that they have taught me every time. So it's more of a collection of that because in my personal experience, the books that we have in market today talk about one particular aspect when it comes to transformation. So say we have got books around habits, we have got books around mindset. So I think everything is covered in this book. So you know what you want to achieve. You have got full trust in your potential. Things are still uncertain. The only thing that you can certain about is yourself. And in the end, it also talks about your mental, physical, and emotional well-being because those are some very important pillars of success, right? And that is why the book is titled All the Pieces Click. So it's not just habits that will take you ahead in life or just the, resilience that would take you ahead in life or the right kind of mindset. It's a lot of things coming together to give you the life that you want. And that's what the book is about.
Thank you. Thank you for that. One would think that you would be like 90 plus, right? Better. With that,
Yes.
I'll give you the last this thing. Give our audience three takeaways from your journey, especially with 12 businesses, 1,000 plus transformation, and $100 million portfolio. What should one look for?
I think I would leave the audience with three key pointers and pointers about which I've already talked about in throughout the podcast. But let me kind of summarize it when it comes to any kind of transformation projects. One, decide with clarity, right? What do you really want to achieve? So start with that clarity. Where do you want to go? What is the transformation you're looking at? Why that transformation? I think the second thing is having that alignment of thought and actions and plan is really crucial. And I think the third important thing is having a regular cadence around it. So you start with clarity, what you want to achieve, build the systems, align throughout the people and the teams and the process and the systems. And then you ensure that ensure that you're also seeing how much progress you're making. Stuff into dashboards and updates. Cadence should be a kind of setup which helps you decide. Ensure one, have you made progress? But with every right kind of cadence, we should always be able to decide how do we move ahead now from this point on. Do we need to change something in the strategy? Do we need to change something in the execution? So being able to make that right kind of decisions at the right time is equally crucial. So leaving the audience with three thoughts: start with the clarity, ensure the alignment, and ensure you have got right kind of cadence to check how good you are making a progress transformation.
Really want to thank you for this opportunity and for taking your time from busy schedule to do this podcast with me. If our audience wants to get in touch with you, they can contact you on your LinkedIn. Please contact her there. And if you have any queries about transformation or interested in our book, go to Amazon, Flipkart, and other online bookstores to get it. With that, I want to thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raj.